What's going on, guys? Welcome along to another video. I'm Matt and Zoe, and today we're taking out the new BMW R 1300 RS SE ASA. That's a mouthful. And also, you can tell by the colour scheme that this is actually the performance package as well. So this has got literally everything thrown at it, but funnily enough, it doesn't. And I say that because when you add the performance package, it removes and restricts the ability to add other things onto it, such as hard panniers, ACC, so the adaptive cruise control, so I believe it takes off the rear radar. So even though it is like the creme de la creme of this model line, me personally, I don't think it is. But we'll get into that later on. Looking at the RS then, this is the 1300 engine in it. We have got 145 of brake horsepower and 149 newton meters of torque. I think for 2025, they've managed to sleeken it down and make it look almost like it hasn't got a massive lumpy engine sticking out the side. Tell me what you think. You've got the option now, there's lovely black chrome for the headers. Because this is the performance package, it does have the aqua can. If you don't have the aqua can, for 25, they've changed the style from the stock exhaust, and I must say I really like it. We've got twin 310mm discs at the front, and this does have the sports brakes on them. They're plenty big enough, and there's more than enough stopping power. Single-sided swing arm, and then we got a single 285 at the rear. Now the weight is 245 kilos, and I'm not sure if that's the standard manual model, or whether there's this, because this is the ASA. So it may be 250, 255 potentially with the ASA on. 17 litre tank. On the right hand side we do have a DIN charging point as well. So if you've got any heated gear or anything like that, you can plug it straight into there. But in the performance package as well, we do have the extra billet stuff on it. So we've got billet levers. Now we've got the billet rear foot pegs. They look nice, but I'll talk about their comfort whilst I'm on the bike. And I mean, you can't be disappointed with that colour scheme either. Now the standard RS is going to set you back £13,700, but let's face it, most people aren't going to go for that because it doesn't have the nice creature comforts. They're going to go for the RS SE. That's going to jump the price up to £15,990. There's more price increases, so hold your horses. So the RS SE ASA, which is this one, is £16,745. But again, I don't think there's going to be a huge amount of people that's going to go for the ASA over the manual, personally speaking. And there's still more price increases. So colour scheme, BMW like to charge extra for their colour schemes. So the standard colour in this is the blue. That's going to be £0 extra. Thank God. If you want the triple black, that's going to be an extra £700. The option 719, which is kind of like a grey, creamy yellow, put a picture on the screen. That's going to add an extra £2,000. And lastly, if you want this colour scheme, because it's the performance package, this is going to set you back an extra £3,140. So yeah, a lot of choices, a lot of decisions need to be made. Personally, if I was to get one of these, I'll be looking at the RS SE, and then I'd either go the standard blue or maybe the triple black. So now the SE is, like I said, where kind of most people go, because that's going to come with the comfort pack and the dynamic pack. In essence, you're going to get things like your heated grips, your heated seats, tyre pressure monitoring system, gear assist shift pro, rider mode pro. Like I said, the things you've come to expect from a bike at this level, to be honest. And that's why I think most people say go for the SE. Because to be honest, at the 13.7, by the time you've added one or two packages, you're pretty much at the 15 and a half anyway, so you might just spend a couple £100 more and get the SE version. All right, that's enough waffling about stats, figures and numbers. Let's jump on this bike and see what we think. Is it too sporty for that kind of nice gap between sports and touring, or is it going to be the perfect weapon for most people to do their Sunday rides and then smash up some touring throughout the year? Well, let's find out. Now, I forgot to say, standard seat height is 815mm. There are two other options. You've got the low seat height of 790mm and a high seat of 845mm. Really covering their basis with those height options. Now, being the ASA, I've got it in manual mode. Personally, I'm just not too keen on the ASA. I just feel like it's just not where I personally want it to be. I find the gears sit too high, so yeah, I've left it in manual. We'll have a little fun on these twisties and we'll see how it is. Now I think this 1300 engine is a really solid engine, but I'm going to put it out there, for me personally, the RS, there's just some things I'm not too keen on. Starting off at the front is the wind deflector, the windshield. At the minute it's in its highest position and it hits me about eye level. When I put it into lowest position, the wind hits me about chin level. And for a bike that's designed to be a bit of a mile muncher, that's just not good enough. There's too much wind hitting me on the face. I was coming across the bridge into Wales and it was loud in the helmet to the point where I'd have to wear earplugs if I was using this bike long term. Also, put it down is fine, you just push it, but putting it back up, there's no handle. Like, it's quite difficult doing it one-handed whilst you're riding. So yeah, not keen on the windscreen. Secondly, mirrors, I don't like them being that far forward. I'm getting a lot of elbow, like at least 50% is elbow. And if I turn it enough so I've got a quarter elbow, it's just not really facing in the right direction. Like, they're just not good enough. And I think for me, the last thing I'm not too keen on is these billet foot peg positions. Now obviously I've not sat on a standard RS to see if it's actually just the RS foot position, but they're a little bit high. I was on the R this morning and that was a perfect position. The RS, not so much. They're a little bit higher, which means the tension between my feet, knee and hips is a little bit tighter, putting me in a bit more of a squash position. For reference, I'm 6'1", so I am quite tall. Some of you may not find a problem with these. I lied. Lastly, is the amount of weight on the wrists. Now this is quite a sporty bike. Like, I'm not sure if they intended it to be this sporty, in my opinion. Like, we've got the S1000 RR for the sports bike. They've got the K1600s as their big comfy tourers. Obviously we've got the R1300 RT, which is again a big comfy tourer. So I get it, they're trying to find that fine line between touring and sport. Part of me feels it's just a little bit too much on the wrist for me. I'd want a little less, I'd like a little less wrist. Now I love the BMW red, white and blue colour scheme. I don't like the fact that if you want it, you have to add on another £3,140. And the other crazy thing I just can't understand is if you want this, the colour scheme and obviously the performance package that it comes with, you can't have hard panniers. I'm pretty sure I was on the configurator last night and I had this as the base colour, or sorry, I had this as the colour. I go to put on panniers and it says if you want panniers you've got to take off this colour scheme. Like, what's the point in having a sporty tourer if you can't put hard luggage? And it also removes the radar, so you can't have the ACC. I believe that's also like the blind spot, you don't have any of that. I don't understand why they've removed stuff just because you want to have a colour and some extra fancy bits. Like, surely you want to give people everything that the bike can have to make it the best bike possible. For me, I personally wouldn't get the BMW colours. I'd stick with the blue or the triple black and enjoy my SE with all the goodies and all the goodies that it can have with some hard luggage. Well, that's enough of that. Let's move on to the good stuff. So this engine is just solid. The brakes with those 310 and the sports brakes, absolutely plenty of braking power. The seat's nice and comfortable. Actually, with the touring pack you do get the GPS bracket, and it will be nice when BMW make their TFTs full map navigation compatible, so we can actually get rid of having the GPS bracket. Even in manual mode, the slow speed handling on this is really nice, really easy. Throttle response is just buttery. But then if you're around town and you wanna chill out a bit more, put it into drive and let the bike do all the work for you. With the ASA, when it's changing gears up, they are quite abrupt. They're not as smooth as having a clutch, having a quick shifter, sorry. Put it back into manual. Flickability then, the bike doesn't feel as heavy as what it is. It's not a light bike, but where it's got nice low center of gravity, it really does flick from side to side. Electronic suspension, lapping up all these bumps. When you got it in manual mode and you're using the shifter, because it's like a switch, the shifter itself is really, really light. But more importantly, the changes are really smooth. And that for me is why I don't understand why sometimes the ASA gear changes are so clunky. For me, the two best things about this bike is the engine and the handling. As I mentioned, I was out on the R1300 R SE this morning, and if I was looking at a new bike between the R and the RS, I know one's faired and one's naked, but I'd go for the R. I just felt like that was just a complete package, whereas this, for me, there's just too many things, too many niggles for me to pick this over the R. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm probably sure there's a different screen you could get. You could probably do bar and mirrors, and I definitely wouldn't go for the ASA. It's one of those, isn't it? Do you want a bike for when you go touring to be comfortable getting there and then be kind of like okay in the corners? Or do you want something to be a little bit less comfortable, get into the twisties, but then when you are there and you're in them, you're going to have the most fun? That for me is where this kind of bike sits. Obviously once you sort out the luggage situation. So on the left hand side, got the two arrows there, and you got this button next to the hazard. That's the function button. There's 4 different options of what that function kind of quick action button can do. You press the single button, and then you've got heating, DTC setting, DCC, or damping. I've got it on to heating. So now whenever I push those arrows up and down, they're linked to the heated grips and heated seats. So like the top arrow does the grips and the bottom arrow does the seat. So yeah, you can just flick through those, and it's nice to have that quick action button just there straight away. But so you can actually change what it is you want from that function button. A lot of traffic today. I really like the look of this front end as well. I think they've done an awesome job at the styling for 2025. Now I'm going to leave the cameras on when I go over the bridge, and you tell me if you can tell how loud this is, as in the wind noise through the mic. Bearing in mind, the windshield is in the high position right now. The other thing to mention is this also does have some different rider modes. We've got Eco, Rain, Road and Dynamic. And on Dynamic, it's just so punchy. You can feel the 149 Nm of torque coming through, let me tell you. Well guys, I'm going to make my way through this traffic and hand this bike back to Dick Lovett, so thank you very much for them for lending it to me. If you want to check out their website, it will be in the description box below. If you've liked it and found it useful, give it a thumbs up. More importantly, subscribe to the channel. And there's nothing else to say, but until the next one, ride safe.